How certain behaviors, regardless of age, can instantly make someone seem less mature or weak. Why do some actions, which might seem harmless on the surface, actually reveal deeper insecurities? In this video, we're exploring a fascinating and eye-opening topic. We're pulling back the curtain on male psychology to uncover those subtle, yet glaringly apparent traits that make men appear less than their best selves. Are you ready to discover what these traits are? Do you think you might be guilty of some of them? Men who, despite their age, still exhibit certain behaviors that make them seem, well, less than mature. But why is this important? Because these behaviors can often make men appear weak or insecure, even if that's not their intention. So, if you're a guy watching this, take notes. And if you're not, you might still find it fascinating to understand the male psyche a little better. Let's dive into the top 5 childish traits that can make men look weak. First on our list, number 1, throwing tantrums. You know that feeling when toddlers don't get the candy they want? Yep, the foot-stomping, face-reddening tantrum. Now, imagine a grown man doing that. Not a pretty sight, right? When men throw emotional fits over minor setbacks, it's like watching a rerun of their toddler years. It's not just about the outburst. It's about the inability to handle life's curveballs. True strength is measured by how you respond to challenges, not by how loud you can yell. Whether it's getting angry over a minor inconvenience or sulking when things don't go their way. These emotional outbursts can be a sign of an inability to handle stress or disappointment maturely. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone gets frustrated or upset from time to time. But there's a difference between expressing disappointment and throwing a full-blown tantrum. Men who resort to this kind of behavior often struggle with emotional regulation, and it can make them appear weak or unstable. It's essential for men to learn how to handle their emotions maturely and constructively, rather than letting them control their actions. Moving forward, let's jump into our next point. Number 2, constant need for validation. The next one is the constant need for validation. We all like to be praised and recognized for our achievements. But there's a line between healthy self-esteem and a constant need for validation. Men who constantly seek approval or validation for every little thing can come across as insecure or lacking in self-confidence. Have you ever met someone who fishes for compliments every chance they get? It's like they're on a never-ending quest for a pat on the back. While we all love recognition, men who constantly seek validation can come off as standing on shaky ground. It's like building a skyscraper on a weak foundation. It's bound to crumble. This behavior often stems from a deep-seated fear of not being good enough or wanting to be liked by everyone. But constantly seeking validation from others can make a man appear dependent and weak. It's crucial for men to find confidence within themselves and not rely solely on external validation. After all, true strength comes from believing in oneself, even when others don't. 3, overcompetitiveness. A little competition can be healthy. It can push us to be better and to strive for excellence. But there's a difference between healthy competition and being overly competitive to the point of obsession. Remember those school races where that one kid had to win every single time? Some men carry that must-win attitude into adulthood, But life isn't a schoolyard race. Being overly competitive, especially over trivial matters, screams insecurity. It's as if they're trying to prove their worth at every turn. True strength? It's knowing when to compete and when to collaborate. It's understanding that life isn't always about the finish line, but the journey. Men who constantly feel the need to one-up others, whether it's in their professional or personal lives, can come across as insecure. This need to always be the best and win often stems from a fear of being seen as weak or inferior. But ironically, this very behavior can make men appear weak. True strength is about something other than always being on top, but recognizing that it's okay not to be the best at everything. It's about understanding that victories or defeats don't determine self-worth. The next one is something we've all probably encountered at some point. Number 4, gossiping and backbiting. It's a myth that only women gossip. Men do it too. And when they do, it can make them look petty and immature. Talking behind someone's back or spreading rumors isn't just morally questionable. It's also a sign of insecurity. Gossiping isn't just a teen thing. It's an insecurity thing. When men engage in backbiting, they're trying to divert the spotlight from their flaws. Why? Because gossiping often stems from a need to feel superior or divert attention away from one's insecurities. Instead of addressing issues directly or focusing on self-improvement, men who gossip choose the easy way out by belittling others. Men must recognize this behavior and strive for open and honest communication. We are moving forward to our last point. Number 5, avoiding responsibility. One of the hallmarks of maturity is taking responsibility for one's actions. Men who constantly deflect blame, make excuses, or avoid responsibility can come across as childish and weak. Whether it's in their relationships, at work, or in everyday situations, avoiding responsibility shows a lack of accountability. Imagine a ship's captain abandoning the ship at the first sign of a storm. That's what it feels like when a man consistently avoids responsibility. It's more than just dodging blame or making excuses. It's a refusal to steer the course of one's life, especially when the waters get rough. This behavior paints a picture of someone who'd rather hide in the shadows than face the consequences of their actions. But here's the thing. Life's challenges, mistakes, and setbacks are inevitable. True strength and maturity lie in embracing these moments, taking responsibility, and navigating them with integrity and accountability. After all, it's not the calm seas, but the challenging storms that truly test and reveal a captain's mettle. It's natural to make mistakes. We all do. But it's how we handle those mistakes that define our character. Men who own up to their mistakes, learn from them, and strive to improve show strength and maturity. On the other hand, constantly avoiding responsibility can make a man appear unreliable and untrustworthy. And there we have it. The top 5 traits that can unintentionally make men seem like they're still in the playground rather than the boardroom. It's intriguing. How can certain behaviors speak volumes about our inner world? But remember, self-awareness is the first step toward growth. By recognizing and understanding these traits, we can work towards becoming the best versions of ourselves. So, what do you think? Were there any surprises on the list? Do you see these traits in the world around you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. and let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, aware, and strive for self-improvement.